Historical background. Period of ICT development. Information technology is the term used to describe the item of equipment, hardware and computer program, software that allow you to access, retrieve, store, organize, manipulate, and present information, BT electronic means. So, ang hardware and software ay nagbibigay daan upang ma-access, ma-retrieve, ma-store, ma-organize, ma-manipulate ang mga information. Communication technology is the term used to describe telecommunication equipment through which information can be sought and accessed. Dito naman, inilalarawan ang mga kagamitan sa telecommunication upang kung saan pwede siyang hanapin at ma-access ang information. Evaluation of ICT. There are four main periods in history that divide the era of ICT. Number 1, pre-mechanical period. Number 2, mechanical period. Number 3, electromechanical period. Number 4, electronic period. Pre-mechanical period. Humans started communicating with one another using word and pictogram curve in rock. Sumerian pictogram, dating back 3100 BCE, that show the earliest form of communication among humans. So, this period, dito nagsimula mag-start yung mga tao na makipag-communicate sa iba dahil sa batong ito. Mechanical period. The machine driven by mechanical means such as steam and gears dominated information processing and calculation. Pascaline, also called arithmetic machine, the first calculator or adding machine to be produced in any quality and actually used. The Pascaline was designed and built by the French mathematician philosopher Blaise Pascal between 1642 and 1644. So, Pascaline po, inimbento ni Blaise Pascal noong mechanical period. Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage was an English polymath, a mathematician, philosopher, inventor, and mechanical engineer. Babbage originated the concept of a digital programmable computer. Babbage is considered by some to be father of the computer. So si Charles Babbage po ang father of computer, and si Charles Babbage din po ang programmable computer. Electromechanical period. Telegraph. The William and Wheatstone telegraph was an earlier electrical telegraph system dating from the 1830s, invented by English inventor William Fothergill Cooke and English scientist Charles Wheatstone. So sila po ang nag-imbento ng telegraph. Morse code. Samuel Morse code, an American inventor, introduced and the first single-circuit telegraph 1844, which given rise to the Morse code. So, si Morse code po ang nag-invento ng Morse code. Telephone. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell was the first to be granted a United States patent for a device that produced clearly intelligible replication of the human voice at a second device. So, si Alexander Graham Bell, siya po ang pinakaunang nakagawa ng telephone sa United States. Electronic period. It started in the 1940s up to the present. The highlight of this period is focused on the advent of solid-state electronic devices. There are four main events found in this period. These are the vacuum tubes period, the transistor period, the integrated circuit period, the computer processor period. The vacuum tube. This inventor of the vacuum tube, Sir John Ambrose Fleming, is actually considered to be the father of electronics because of his pioneering invention. So, ang nakaimbento ng vacuum tube is si John Ambrose, and siya din ang father ng electronic. The transistor. In 1947, the transistor was invented. It is an electronic device with properties and functions similar to vacuum tubes, but is lightweight and faster. The first full transistor computer was developed in 1957 and was faster than the vacuum computers. So, yung first na nabuo na yung transistor is 1957. Mas mabilis siya sa vacuum computer. The integrated circuit. In 1958, integrated circuit was introduced by an American electrical engineer named Jack Kilby. Computer processor. Computers are evolving from basic textual interfaces and graphical user interfaces, or GUI, the result of development methods of connectivity for sharing process, fast-paced development and innovating in personal, productivity, entertainment, communication, World Wide Web. Abacus. The binary abacus is used to explain how computers manipulate number. The abacus show how number, letters, and sign can be stored in a binary system on a computer. So, ang abacus po ay nag-i-store siya ng number, letters, or sign to binary form. Napier bone is a manually operated calculating device created by John Napier of Merchinton, Scotland, for the calculation of products and quotient of numbers. Early developments in electronic data processing. Mark I, developed by Howard Aiken and Harvard University. So, sila po yung nag-develop ng Mark I. Official name was Automatic Sequence Controlled Calculator. Could perform the 4 basic arithmetic operations. ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator. Developed by John Presburg Eckert Jr. and John Munchley. So sila po ang nag-develop ng ENIAC and the first larger scale vacuum tube computer. EDVAC, Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer, developed by John von Neumann. So, si John von Neumann ang nag-develop ng EDVAC, a modified version of the ENIAC, employed binary arithmetic. EDSAC, Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator, built by Maurice Wilkes during the year 1949. One of the first stored program machine computers and one of the first to use binary digits. So, siya yung unang nag-store ng program machine and siya din yung unang gumamit ng binary digits. UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computers, developed by George Gray in Remington Rand Corp., manufactured as the first commercially available first-generation computer. IBM, International Business Machines. By 1960, IBM was dominant force in the market of large mainframe computers. IBM 650, built in the year 1953 by IBM and marked the dominance of IBM in the computer industry. IBM 701, IBM's first commercial business computer. Generation of computer. Generation in computer terminology is a change in technology a computer was being used. Initially, the generation term was used to distinguish between varying hardware technologies. Nowadays, generation includes both hardware and software, which together make up an entire computer system. First generation, 1946 to 1959, vacuum tube based. They use vacuum tube in place of relays as a means of storing data in memory in the use of stored program concept. It requires 3.5 kilowatts of electricity per day to keep the vacuum tube running. So, ito ay ginagamit ng mga tube ng vacuum sa lugar ng mga relay bilang isang paraan ng pag-iimbak ng data sa memory at paggamit ng naimbak na konsepto ng programa. Who invented the vacuum tube? First invented by a British scientist named John A. Fleming in 1919. Although Edison had made some discoveries while working on the light bulb, the vacuum tube was improved by Lee De Forest. The main features of first generation are vacuum tube technology, unreliable, supported machine language only, very costly, generation lot of heat, slow input-output device, need of AC, non-portable, consume lot of electricity. Second generation, 1959 to 1965, a transistor computer, now often called a second generation computer, is a computer which uses discrete transistors instead of vacuum tube. The first generation of electronic computer used vacuum tube which generated large amount of heat, were bulky and unreliable. So, ang transistor computer ngayon ay tinatawag na second generation computer. Ito ay gumagamit ng discrete transistor kasi sa vacuum tube. In this generation, magnetic core were used as primary memory and magnetic type, and magnetic disks are secondary storage devices. So, sa generation na ito, ang mga magnetic core ay ginagamit bilang pangunahing memory at magnetic and magnetic disk bilang pangalawang storage ng mga devices. Who invented the transistor? The first transistor was invented at Bell Laboratories on December 16, 1947 by William Shockley. Seated at Brattain Laboratory bench, John Barden, left, and Walter Brattain, right. The main features of second generation are use of transistors, reliable as compared to first generation computer, smaller size as compared to the first generation computer, generate less heat as compared to first generation computer, consume less electricity as compared to first generation computer, faster than first generation computer, still very costly, AC needed, support machine and assemble languages. Third generation, 1965 to 1971, use integrated circuit in place of transistors. A single IC has many transistors, resistor and capacitors, along with the associated circuitry. The IC was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computer smaller in size, reliable, and efficient. So, dito naman, ginagamit ang integrated circuit kapalit ng mga transistor. Ang single IC ay maraming mga transistor, resistor, and capacitors, kasama ang nauugnay na circuitry. The main features of third generation are ICUs, more reliable, smaller size, generate less than heat, faster, lesser maintenance, still costly, AC needed, consume lesser electricity, support high-level language. Fourth generation, 1971 to 1980, use very large-scale integrated circuit, VLSI circuit having about 5,000 transistor and other circuit elements with their associated circuit on a single chip made it possible to have microcomputer of fourth generation. So, ang VLSI ay mayroong halos 5,000 na transistor na may kaugnay na kanilang mga circuit sa isang solar, and yung single chip ay possible itong magkaroon ng mga microcomputer sa fourth generation. Main features of fourth generation: VLSI technology use, very cheap, portable and reliable, use of PCs, very small size, pipeline processing, No AC needed. Concept of internet was introduced. Great development in the field of network. Computer became easily available. Fifth generation was an initiative by Japan's Ministry of International Trade and Industry, began in 1982 to create computer using massively parallel computing and logical programming. So dito naman noong 1982 nagsimula lumikha ng mga computer gamit ang napakalaking parallel computing at logical programming. ICT in everyday life. Education. Today, most school and higher educational institutions have computer in the classroom for teacher and students. In education, teachers, students, researchers, and school administrators benefits from the usage of ICT. So, karamihan sa mga matataas na paaralan ay may mga kagamitan sila pang edukasyon, may mga computer para sa mga guro at sa mag-aaral. Banking. The computer is the nerve center of the banking system. Around the world, it functions to control the entire banking system. That also include electronic banking services. Electronic banking provides 24-hour services. So, dito naman, ang computer ay nerve center para sa banking system sa buong mundo na napapaandar nito upang makontrol ang buong system ng banking. And ang electronic banking naman ay nagbibigay ng 24 hours na serbisyo. Industry. Computer are used to facilitate production planning and control system to support chain management and to help in product design in the industrial sector. In the industrial sector, worker, researchers, and administrator benefit from the usage of ICT. Ang computer ay ginagamit upang mapabilis ang production planning at control system upang suportahan ang pamamahala at upang makatulong sa disenyo ng produkto sa sektor na ito. E-commerce. E-commerce help in boosting the economy in makes buying and selling activities easier, more efficient and faster for the application computer, internet, and shared software are needed. So, dito naman sa e-commerce, nakakatulong ang e-commerce sa pagpapalakas ng ekonomiya. Ginagawa nitong mas madali ang pagbili at pagbebenta ng mga aktibidad at mas mabilis. Positive and negative impact in society. Faster communication speed. Before information like new and other messages were sent and received by a receiver for a long time, but now through cell phones, computer, wired and portable radios, television, and the internet, information can be easily transmitted to one another. Due to electronic usage, all communication can cycle faster. Lower communication costs. In just cheap rates in text messaging and calling through cellular phones and telephones, and low cost of using internet like social medias, communication can go through. You can communicate with the person you want to communicate with in just lower cost compared before. You don't need private messengers to deliver your message to desired receiver. Reliable mode of communication. Computers are reliable with the internet information could be accessed and retrieved from anywhere and anytime. This makes it a reliable mode of communication. However, the input to the computer is contributed by humans. If the data passed to the computer is faulty, the result will be faulty as well. Effective sharing of information. Knowledge and ideas can be easily shared to be desired receiver all around the world through ICT. People can do meeting, forums, and businesses. Through internet, in simple effort, they can negotiate of everything and market everything through a faster and effective sharing of communication through ICT. Even in education, teacher can share his or her lesson with the student everywhere by using of internet. Paperless environment. ICT technology has created the term paperless environment. This term means information can be stored and retrieved through the digital medium instead of paper. Online communication via emails, online chat, and instant messaging also help in creating the paperless environment. Borderless communication. Nowadays, communication is not controlled by everyone because it is borderless through cellular phones and the internet. You can just communicate with the local area today, but you can communicate with the people nearby and far countries and around the world with a low cost. You can chat or text with your friend even outside in the country because of ICT. Social problem. There are some negative effects of ICT. It has created social problem in the society. Nowadays, people tend to choose online communication rather than having real-time conversations. People tend to become more individualistic and introvert. Health problems. When you are so much exposed in the gadget like computers, cellular phones, and other electronic devices, it can lead to harm human's health due to the radiation emitted. It can lead to the eye damage and headache. It can also lead to back pain, hip pain, and bad posture. It can lead also not just a physical stress, but psychological or mental stress when a certain user cannot cope up with the content seen in the internet or other ICT produced. 10 major parts of computer. Case, also known as a computer chassis, tower, system unit, or cabinet, is the enclosure that contains most of the component of a personal computer. Ito ay naglalaman karamihan sa bahagi ng personal computer. Random access memory. It is also called as read-write memory or the main memory or the primary memory. Hard drive. A hard drive is the hardware component that stores all of your digital content. Your document, picture, music, video, program, application preference, and operating system represent digital content stored on a hard drive. So, dito lahat na iimbak ang iyong digital content like document, picture, music, video, program, at marami pang iba. Video card or graphic card work along the same principle, the CPU working in conjunction with software application send information about the image to the graphic card. The graphic card decide how to use the pixel of the screen to create the image. Motherboard is the backbone that ties two computers component together at one spot and allow them to talk to each other. Without it, none of the computer pieces, such as the CPU, GPU, or hard drive, could interact. So, ito ang pinaka-importante sa computer. Kasi, kung wala ito, hindi gagana ang iyong computer. Processor, also known as the CPU, provide the instruction and processing power the computer needs to do its work. The more powerful and update your processor, the faster your computer can complete its tasks. Power supply. It's an electrical device that supplies electric power to an electrical load. All power supplies have a power input connection which receives energy in the form of electric current from a source, and one of more power output connection that deliver current to the load. Monitor. Computer monitor is an output devices that display information in pictorial form. A monitor usually comprises the visual display. So, yung monitor, dito makikita yung mga information, ganun.
Keyboard and mouse. The keyboard allows the user to type letter and number, and the mouse allows the user to position the cursor, draw, and execute program function by clicking mouse button. So, yung keyboard po, ito yung dito tayo nagta-type ng mga information, ganun, letter, number. And yung mouse, ito yung nagko-control ng computer kung saan mo siya, kahit saan mo siya ilagay. Optical drive. DVD-ROM drive in computer is a common type of optical drive that can read and write information from and to a DVD-ROM disk.